All right. I think we're live.
I think. Looks like
All right, we're live on Facebook. We got Twitch, okay. YouTube,
yep.
All
Tinder?
right.
Oh, that's not a place
We are good to
OnlyFans.
go. OnlyFans? We're live on OnlyFans?
Yep.
That is correct.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Oversell Podcast, the greatest wrestling podcast in the universe. We are here tonight continuing our road to Wrestlemania. I'm with the captain, my man Scythex. Fellas, what's going on?
What up, bud?
How's everybody doing tonight? Happy St. Patty's Day.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
I already know who this person is, and I hate him.
It's got to be Butters, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
Butters.
I'm with him 100%. We're going to get into that. Let's go.
So speaking of Condom, it looks like they're leading towards Dom versus Ray at WrestleMania. First thing before we go any further, I got to clarify something. No, last week I was misinformed. A couple websites had reported that Stacy Keibler was the first inductee into this year's Hall of Fame. That is in fact false.
Correct.
It got picked up by a bunch of somebody put a rumor out there. It got picked up by a bunch of people. It was absolutely false. Rey Mysterio is the first inductee into this year's Hall of Fame. We haven't heard much about any other inductees yet. So he's getting inducted this year.
Do you find it weird to induct somebody who's still active, very much active on the roster?
I believe he's on a Legends contract.
Is he?
Yeah, and I think the way they do it is if you're on a Legends contract, you can be inducted. This also probably means that him and Dom at WrestleMania is probably going to be his last match.
Probably.
More than likely.
I mean, listen, Condom will bring relevancy to a career that has ended pathetically.
Actually, I agree with the pathetic part.
And listen, if this was a few years ago when Condom was just Dom, not only would this not have meant anything, but Rey Mysterio would have been, oh, give me a hug, son. Da, da, da. Now, when his son, Condom, the great heel, Condom, is in the ring with him, it'll end his career how it should. He'll have a WrestleMania moment because Condom will create one for him. So I'm happy for Rey to get his final hurrah and his son being able to do that for him. Great.
I don't know what I'm more impressed by, those glasses or the fact that you were able to say that entire thing with a straight face on.
The truth will set you free, my friend. That's
all.
This is probably one of the most boring storylines going into WrestleMania. I can't wait for it to be over.
I'm with you on that.
It's definitely not. It's a great and you wouldn't know a good storyline if it punched you in the side of the head. Okay, so that's number one. Number two,
considering you like this, I don't know about that one.
I can tell you. First of all, it took forever you to warm up to the Bloodline storyline.
No, it didn't.
So let's relax.
I just didn't watch until it was relevant.
Even worse. You don't even know about a storyline. So number two, the fact is Condom's work as a heel has been superb. And I'm gonna give a little something to our guy Zuplex because he likes to talk about the character arc, brother. And let's talk about the character arc of Condom, and I'll sum it up in 2 words. He went from fruity to elite heel in a year. Guy's awesome. Leave it at that, bro. Let's go.
I think once his dad gets put into the Hall of Fame and is no longer inactive on the roster, we're going to see a lot less of Condom. I got a feeling he's going to be in AEW before you know it.
That would be
the heel turn, I think, was the right move for him. I just don't think
It was the only move for him.
It's I don't know how well it's actually like landing, but we'll see. I mean, listen, I could be proven wrong. I could be proven wrong because like
the crowd reacts to him.
The crowd reacts to him, but if you took him away, no one would care.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Listen, at the end of the day, if we took John Moxley away, and he was a major character, and it is what it is.
People cared. And people cared.
Okay, but they stopped though, and then they write on their little blogs, "It'd be great to get him back." Who cares though? Everyone moves on. Everybody moves on. So
no, my point is like the Miz is a great example of this, right? He's a heel that everybody wants to hate. Everybody wants to see him lose. But when if you take him away, it affects the product, right?
Mm-hmm.
Condom, you take him away, it doesn't affect the product at all.
Doesn't affect anything,
bro. When the Miz is gone, it is what it is. There's no affecting anything. I'm not affected. I don't miss him. Love him. He's a great heel. I love his work inside of WWE. I love his work. But when he's gone, I'm like, I don't even realize he's gone. And then he comes back. I'm like, oh, the Miz is back. Bro, you guys are missing a mark here, man. You guys are missing a big
mark. I understand what you're saying. He's getting a reaction. There's a difference between a heel reaction of we hate you,
say something like this, to
the heel reaction of get this guy out of the fucking ring. Yeah.
Right. You're awesome. A complete joke.
He's got guys, then he has genuine heat. You know what it takes to step in the ring and have a character pushed without them pulling the plug? Like WWE is not going to bring some guy in the ring, have people genuinely hate him, not want him in the ring, and not pull the plug. They change characters all the time, frequently.
Which is why I'm saying they're going to pull the plug as soon as Ray's gone.
Yeah, I doubt it. It's going to elevate him.
We'll see. But he could prove us wrong. He could prove us wrong at WrestleMania. Maybe he makes a true, real heel turn. Really, does his dad dirty. I'm assuming he's going to win the match because he's got to get, Ray's got to put him over, right? That's got to be the only way that this shakes out. So we'll see what happens. The other big news, speaking of the Judgment Day, is that we have Finn Balor versus Edge in a Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I love that promo, and the fact that Finn Balor was like, "I've already been to hell, and they kicked me out because they couldn't handle my demons." I thought that was a great line from him, man.
Absolutely, it was a pretty good promo between the two of them. I want to see these two in Hell in a Cell. I think it's going to be a really stellar match. I'm excited for it now. Finally, something from Finn that we're getting that's going to be more than this Judgment Day thing that he's been doing. I think he's been hurt by the Judgment Day, by them sticking him in there. So we'll see what happens. Right now, everybody in Judgment Day except for Damian Priest has something to do with WrestleMania.
Yeah, which is a shame because he's a great talent.
That leads me to ask.
I'm gonna have to say really quickly that I have zero interest in any Edge match. Unfortunately, at this point, if I'm not getting triple threat Edge with the Hardy Boys, if I'm not getting the real rated R superstar, I just think he's a cookie cutter guy that we reminisce about and talk about his greatness. Love Finn Balor. Without him being the demon in pay-per-views, don't care about him.
He might bring the demon back for this, though.
Okay, if he does, cool.
The way he talked about the promo was that, like Fred said, the line he said was, "I've been to hell and they kicked me out because they can't take my demons."
Yeah, it's a great line, but at the end of the day, he's fighting 50-year-old Edge. You know, on a few.
Yeah, I'm ready for that storyline to end too.
Yeah, so I'm not. I want to see Finn Balor back as the demon fighting Rollins, right? Like I want to see him in the ring. Yeah. I definitely don't want to listen to him. So you know how I feel about that. I'm ready for that storyline to end, and let's bring the demon back and let's let Edge retire. See you later, Edge.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, I agree with you on that. Like, I want the Demon to come back. I want Edge to just ride off into the sunset. He had a great comeback, a great
Awesome
resurgence.
Yeah.
Like, did amazing things with it. The Royal Rumble return, the win in the Royal Rumble, all that stuff.
Considering that we thought and he thought he would never be able to do it again because of his injuries, he had a hell of a run on the return.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Truthfully, I'm a little upset there was even a run. I thought it would have been super magical for him to have that pop at the Rumble and for him to like finish with the Rumble and show everyone. And I wish that it would have been earlier and let him do like a 60, 70 minute crazy magical return and like leave it at that, because I don't understand how there was any steam behind an Edge with no storyline coming back, knowing he wasn't going to win very much. It was a very weird.
Well, the storyline was the comeback, right? Like, that's the storyline.
Yeah, so it should have just been done at the Rumble. It's surprising.
Yeah, you can only push that storyline so far.
Yeah, he dude. I mean, he stunned us all. The pop was nuts.
I mean, it's probably the greatest Royal Rumble return of all time. Like, in all honesty,
no doubt, one of the most memorable and surprising ones. So, I think they dropped the ball with him there. You know.
Yeah, I think it's gone on for a little too long. The stuff with him and Beth was cool, but like, we're at the point where I think everybody's ready for the Judgment Day Edge storyline to just stop and go away, but that being said, we got some Edge to talk about anyway, because this was the hardest road to WrestleMania list that I've had to do yet. WrestleMania's 17 through 24 were bangers. Dude, like, this was so difficult to nail down a top 10. And the way I really wound up coming to this list is that I tried to think about, before going into watching all of them, the ones that I could remember that would have been from this time. They're obviously going to make the list because I remembered them before I even rewatched the pay-per-views, right? So that means that they had to be a big enough moment for me to remember them from decades ago.
Yep.
I'm at the point where, we had matches like at WrestleMania 20, the triple threat between HBK, Triple H, and Benoit, where Benoit wins the title. We had matches like, what else do I have here? WrestleMania 19, Jericho versus HBK. Like, we had so many amazing matches to talk about. This is the period of WrestleManias where they leaned into the streak.
Mm-hmm.
Where everybody was going after the streak. Edge, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. We're about to go into next week's list, has the 4 matches of Triple H and Shawn Michaels going back to back to back to back against The Undertaker. You have Batista going after you have the emergence of John Cena. So there was a lot that happened in these 8 Royal Rumbles. Derpy said, "Oh shoot, it's Dr. Disrespect's brother."
Derpy, let me tell you something. Dr. Disrespect can only be so fucking lucky. Tell you that.
Derpy's not his brother. It's the Wish.com version of Dr. Disrespect. That's what we got.
First of all, you better put some respect on my name. So, I put the glass back on for Dirt. Here you go. They were actually.
So this was.
Let me ask you.
I was going to say.
You mentioned the streak. I just want to ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Were the Streak's matches, the Undertaker's matches about the streak, good matches, or was it they were just memorable because we started getting into the streak, right? Because there was none of the Undertaker's matches that stood out to me until later.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why, I'll be honest with you, none of the Undertaker's matches from this era, from this 8, wound up on my top 10.
Okay, fair enough. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I had to mention it because that's where they really started with the whole I'm going after the streak. Like it wasn't like I want to face the Undertaker. It was like I want to end the streak. You had the Randy Orton angle, which I got to say the Randy Orton Undertaker match was really good. But some of them were good, some of them bad. Like the Undertaker Batista match was terrible.
Yeah. I love the one with Shawn Michaels when he came in the white Undertaker outfit. I loved that match.
Yeah, that's at 25, so that's just outside. That's probably going to be on next week's list.
Oh, listen, bro. I mean, take us through this this top 10.
All right,
bro.
so we're going to number 10.
Okay.
Number 10 is WrestleMania 22. Foley versus Edge.
I thought you were going to start with a match from 24. Interesting. Okay.
So now, WrestleMania 22, Foley versus Edge. Edge was getting a lot of heat at this point. He was the rated R superstar, but the company didn't really think that he could carry the title, right? They thought he was a pretty boy. They thought he didn't have the grit to put on the matches and everything like that. So he said, put me with Mick. Let me do a hardcore match at WrestleMania. And let me show you guys what I can do. And this match was bonkers. Baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire, thumbtacks. Yeah. Edge put himself through absolute hell to get over in this match. And it's one of the most memorable things, especially for the end of it. Because Edge spears Foley through the flaming table.
The flaming table. I remember that.
The flaming table is
remembers that.
Yeah, you can't not remember this. It was such a huge moment. Moment. It hits number 10 simply because it wasn't a main event. It wasn't but it was one of those dark horse things that really stole the show at 22.
Wow. It's wild to think. I can appreciate this. It's first of all, it goes to show you the depth. Okay. Just like you mentioned, you have a match that wasn't even probably a mid card, I would say.
Yeah.
The magnitude of a mid card in a WrestleMania, the magnitude of the match, really for Edge, because Mick Foley before this, easily had proven himself as
he's the hardcore icon,
company, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was like a walk in the park for him. This was like, bro, I've done this. I have nothing to prove. People know the lengths that I would go, but right, like you said, they didn't know how far Edge would go. That's a good call on this. I wouldn't have put it on my list. It deserves to be on the list. That's a great call. Okay, you sold me.
Yeah. This is the reason. This match was the reason. I watched an interview about this, where Foley was talking about it, and this reason why Edge was able to go on and become champion, because he proved to the company he proved to Vince and the guys that he can go toe to toe with the Undertaker. This is what led to him trying to go for the streak. So that's number 10. WrestleMania 22.
Is this the only one from 22 that's on your list?
No.
Okay.
As it shouldn't be. So go ahead.
All right. Number 9. We're going to WrestleMania 17, TLC 2. The only reason this is so low on the list is because we already talked about this match last week.
Yes, we did.
When we talked about the triangle ladder match. But this was the reason why this one makes the list. Is specifically for the ending, because this is the one that Edge spears Jeff Hardy out of midair.
Insanity.
A major moment, bro. Major moment.
It's played back
Huge moment.
matter what. Now I gotta ask you, this can't possibly be the only WrestleMania 17 moment, correct? Because I swear to you, I'll fucking riot right now.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, this should be
It's not.
this should be lower on the list, but I do understand why it's higher up. I get it.
I mean,
Good reason.
it should be higher. It should definitely be higher. But if
Higher,
we
lower,
didn't go over this all last week, like we put the triangle ladder match at number 2 last week, right? Or number
Yes.
3 last week. You know,
That first of all, whoever didn't see that ending, and you want to just be mortified at the fucking bullshit that was put at my doorstep last week at the ending that Duplex put us through, watch the last one, and I'm telling you, if you don't find his location and want to beat him to death, you're an idiot just like him. Go ahead, continue. I digress.
out of the 3 TLC matches, this is by far the best one.
No doubt.
You know, even last week when we were talking about the triangle ladder match, you had mentioned this match a bunch of times. You know,
but let me ask you, you said something to me, and I'm going to give it back to you.
Yeah.
Is this better than the original? You made a very big deal. You made a very okay. Go ahead. Okay.
The ending of this, because all right, let me ask you a question. How'd the first one end?
I couldn't tell you.
How'd this one end?
With the spear.
Yeah.
No, I hear it. I hear you. No, dude,
You know?
I'm on epic moments. I'm not even arguing. I'm just playing devil's advocate, right?
I hear you.
I think you made a big deal of like where memory started, because we're talking about memorable moments at WrestleMania. Now, the first 2 here, you already hit us with 2 memorable moments.
Yes.
The spear onto the table with the fire, love that. The spear off the ladder, love that. And by the way, it's sort of letting you know how critical Edge was to some of these WrestleManias, right?
I mean, this was the time where we started losing Rock and Stone Cold, started losing HBK, Triple H was Triple H, you know.
Yeah.
But they needed the guys to start stepping up.
Yep.
And we got guys like Edge that stepped up into it.
Okay. I like it, bro. Okay. So I'm pretty sold on 10 and 9 so far. Okay.
I agree.
Okay. It's not 10 and 9 it's really 3, 2, 1 that he goes fucking downhill. So we'll wait. Go ahead.
Again, like I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I had such a difficult time putting this top 10 together this week that if you argue with me on it, I'll completely agree with you. Like they're all over I'm all over the place on this one. There were so many matches that I could have put in this top 10 that I just had to find a way to narrow it down. So
I love it. I can respect.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's number 9, WrestleMania 17, TLC 2. Number 8, WrestleMania 23. We're going to that's TLC 2 still. The Battle of the Billionaires.
Okay. Interesting.
If this picture doesn't tell you everything you need to know about this. Now,
okay.
All right. Sort of losing me here, but go ahead.
Yeah.
I gotta hear this quickly.
Vince versus Trump. They each have a
hair
wrestler
match.
hair versus hair match. Loser gets their head shaved at WrestleMania. Bobby Lashley versus Umaga. With Stone Cold Steve Austin as a special guest referee. Shockingly, Stone Cold screws over Vince. Donald Trump wins. We get the great moment where Trump pounces on Vince and just beats the crap out of him. Vince tries to sneak away. They get him, strap him in, and shave his head at WrestleMania.
Wow.
Now, I couldn't tell you what happened in this match, but I will forever remember Vince getting his head shaved.
Yeah.
I will forever remember that. I'm also going to bet on the fact that we get reported for saying Trump.
You might be right.
That's a guarantee. This podcast, just by association, has become racist, and we're probably getting shut down. Thank you for that. Yes, it was a memorable moment, but probably not the one I'm picking from here. But once again, we're going memorable moments. I would have put this at 10.
I'm looking at the card for 23. It wasn't a great lineup.
It wasn't a great lineup, but that's why if there was, unless you did two, obviously into this latter half of in the 20s, right? Really early 20s, you start to get into that John Cena era. And I think a lot of the push and the magnitude of his matches, because if you look at some of the guys that he fought in the WrestleManias, it was like icon after icon after icon, right? Age, Michael. So that, unless you have, I don't know if you have another one from here, but that probably would have been
from 23. I got one more from 23.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if it's the one, but like this one had a moment. So we're talking about WrestleMania moments. I see it. It was more spoof than really anything else, because Lashley and Umaga are not going to wow you. And the dialogue between Trump and McMahon are even worse and not going to wow you. And like obviously Stone Cold's in there to put a face on it, because everyone knew like the four were going to snooze you.
Every WrestleMania, the more recent ones, 20 on, I would say, maybe even earlier, they always had like a gimmick match, and this was clearly that one. So,
this was 100% a gimmick match. This is probably the best gimmick match they've ever done, though.
Great shout out, a great call here. Didn't Zoot make a huge deal about how the moment needs to shape WWE or wrestling in general? So
I never said that.
Does this? You did. How the fuck?
No, I never said that every moment has to shape wrestling in general.
By the way, listen, bro.
I said that the ladder match between Shawn and Razor shaped wrestling in general. But go on.
I mean, we have to get.
It's recorded, so you go back and listen.
We have to get some clips here, because I agree, but you have to understand, dude. Listen, this is what Zoot does. He doesn't die on the hill that he storms. Okay, never. He lets his troops storm the hill. He stays at the bottom. He gets lost, even if he doesn't know the war he's in, and then he tells you, "What do you mean? I didn't tell my troops to storm the hill. What are you talking about?" So you got to realize, dude, what we're dealing with here. All right. He said it. I'm with you. He's out to lunch on it. This one's probably 10. Somehow this memorable moment beat the ladder spear. Not sure how, but fine.
Again, the ladder was only as low because we talked about it last week.
All right. Let's try.
If we didn't talk about it last week, it would have wound up higher on the list. That's the only reason why.
Okay.
So if this was number 7, is it? Then
this is number 8. This is number 8.
I'm so curious on what we got the rest of the way.
I'm hoping he saves some dignity here for himself and we get some goodness here. Okay, let's go to 7.
Let's go. I'm here for it.
You lost me here. 10 through 8, 10 through 10, 9, 10 and 9 I was in on. 8, I'm starting to lean off. Let's see 7.
All right. Number 7.
Get us back on track, Zoot, please.
The champ is here, baby. John Cena wins his first WWE Championship at WrestleMania versus JBL at WrestleMania 21.
Okay.
This is the change. This is where he goes from the Doctor of Thugonomics to you can't see me, everybody loves me, John Cena. I'm here for the kids.
And this
goes up against JBL.
JBL was a great heel at that time too.
Huge heel, and JBL, I believe, went to commentating after this match.
This cannot be the one and only from your.
It's not. It's not.
Okay. Because there is, by the way,
yes,
there is arguably an iconic moment in here that leads to something incredible. So I'm going to leave it alone. Dude, there's
You're talking about a 21?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're back on track with this. I like this moment. Okay.
And again, it's lower on the list because there's something that happens with Cena higher on the list.
I like it. No, I can dig it.
Yeah.
Okay. We are, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the tracks.
We're not derailing at the moment.
The train is moving, and we're not talking about the Trump train. The train is moving. Let's keep it going, baby. Okay.
But yeah, this is where he wins his first. I mean, listen, he's the second most championships of all time,
Ever.
behind Flair. He's one behind Flair, and he starts that run right here against JBL, great competitor. The match was, I'll be honest with you, the match wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't great, but JBL wasn't always the best dance partner to have either.
Yeah.
No, it was just the outcome created the moment, not so much the match.
Yeah.
Yeah, what this led to.
John Cena, I think there's more story working the crowd and storyline during a match. We know like John Cena gives us the 5 moves of doom, right?
Exactly.
So we're not getting like anything legendary. Even when he was in the ring with The Rock and some of those moments later on, it wasn't anything that we were like, holy moly, this is incredible wrestling. We were like, holy moly, this is a crazy moment.
You want to know where Cena's best work was done in ring work? I'm talking not on the mic, but in ring work. Was his U.S. champion? Yeah.
I was going to say in his matches with CM Punk.
Well, that was kind of where I was leading to, because his matches with Punk led him into the U.S. championship run, where he was challenging the top talent every week on Raw. Yeah. So he had these banger matches with KO, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, all these guys. But he was doing more. Like he started pulling out springboard stunners and all types of different moves. Like he stopped being the 5 moves of doom and started being like, let me see what I could do with these guys. All right, so that's number 7.
I can dig it.
WrestleMania 21. The champ is here, baby. What a great shot that is. Huh? I got to get better at the pictures. Stars.
Awful belt. Great shot.
Awful belt.
Agreed.
Terrible belt, but great shot. These are backwards for some reason. All right. Number 6, WrestleMania 22. Ray wins his first title. Now, this is Orton, Angle, Mysterio. Rey Mysterio wins the Royal Rumble this year when he had the record-setting time in the Rumble. Went from number 2 to finishing it off. This record was just beaten this year by Gunther. So he's held the record that long and goes on to win his first heavyweight championship at WrestleMania 22.
I think I was rooting for Randy Orton in this match, if I remember. I was never a big Mysterio fan.
Mysterio was always the consummate underdog, right? So he always got that crazy fan favorite, and he was really the first and last legendary luchador that had a big card mystique about him. We've had a lot of great luchadors, but none that had the magnitude of Rey Mysterio. He made you believe somehow that when he got in the ring, he could fight giants.
He was the giant killer.
I never got that.
I did, and it was pretty just on the things that he did and the movements and the way he was like reckless about his own body and the way he let the bigs throw him around. He definitely had that it factor for a luchador. I'm not saying that I was sold on him either as a wrestler, but to be honest with you, Scythe, the reason why is because I personally grew up with Hogan. So I always like the big guy, right?
Yeah.
So like a Rey Mysterio could never fulfill that heavyweight thing for me. But I always looking at it, I have to be fair, and he was awesome. Do you have you don't have anything else from this match, from this Mania, I'm assuming, which
my
Foley Edge was from this Mania also.
Yeah, go ahead, Scythe. Go ahead.
My thing with Mysterio is I loved him in WCW when he's the high flyer and he's doing his thing, man. He was electrifying. He really was. And when he came over to the WWE, I feel like he lost that part of himself and he just became more of like I'm just gonna take on the giants and I can go toe to toe with the biggest dudes in the world. And it never felt believable to me personally. I thought he should have just stayed more in not so much the cruiserweight lane, but more in his weight class as far as like a Benoit type, like somebody down, smaller, basically. I don't know.
Yeah, but he
I could
Benoit won
never.
the title plenty of times, though.
Yeah, I don't think you remember Benoit.
Yeah,
Benoit
I don't think you do either.
Benoit.
I'm saying like he wasn't like
huge.
Big Show. He wasn't,
Yeah, he wasn't
giants.
7 foot tall, but if Benoit walked in a room, he would be the biggest guy in the room. So I don't think you remember Benoit. You might be talking about his height, brother, because Benoit.
I am.
Okay. Yeah, Benoit was a freak. He at one point.
No, he was jacked. Yeah, for sure.
No, so like Benoit, only difference between Benoit and Mysterio was one had muscles and one didn't. But Ray,
right, and it would have been more believable, like somebody going up against somebody his size with muscles, but Ray had the speed, and it was like that. But I
think that's what made they only pushed one like Ray, right?
Yeah, so they never pushed anyone else like Ray. Ray's the one that has the ability to do it.
Daniel Bryan, he was like the little guy that could also.
Yeah. First of all, Daniel Bryan was like a foot taller than Rey Mysterio. And
he was still the little guy.
And he was the little guy, but he was just, we saw him as more of an indie guy, right? That's like a CM Punk type of thing where they're like just shy of a dad bod, but wrestling at high levels. So like he got into the ring in a triple threat match with a Randy Orton and Triple H, and it was not so believable, but he ended up overcoming just based on what he put his body through and his wrestling ability in the ring. But Rey Mysterio was the only guy they could push like that. And they could have pushed others, but like he wouldn't have been the same thing. And it's it
wouldn't have gone over as well as Ray did.
No, Ray.
I just picture Ray as like Mini-Me from Austin Powers, and they're just throwing him around like a freaking rag doll.
You got to remember something too. Even when he was in WCW, after they unmasked him, they had Ray doing the giant killer thing. Remember, he took out Goldberg, he took out Kevin Nash. There was plenty. It's always the go-to storyline from Ray because of his size and because of his personality so over, and he's so over with the fans. He's probably the smallest guy that you could put in there with these big guys and say, hey, like, it's believable that Ray can win this match. And the way he does it too, because he's always like eking out the win.
You don't have anything else from this WrestleMania, I'm assuming? It's done. You had the other, but you don't have anything else?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
You don't have the Playboy pillow fight?
Just
that's a moment.
An honorary mention because we were talking about it, and it sort of started the Cena era. Now in 22, you saw Cena defeat a legend in Triple H, right? So
yes, and there's a reason why that one's not on here, and you'll see why. But go on.
No, I was just saying you start to see that like that crazy trajectory of where this guy's going to go in his career. And
absolutely,
listen, I think that we sort of knew, like, the company was pushing him. He was going to be the guy, but you didn't know he was going to beat every guy,
Absolutely.
So it's like JBL's one thing, but when you get in a Triple H land, it's another. Mm-hmm. We know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was a toss up between that match and another one that's later on in the list. Okay. And you'll understand why.
All right.
So we're going to number 5.
Top
WrestleMania
5,
17. The Rock and Stone Cold 2.
That's what I was looking for.
Now, out of the trilogy, right? This is the best one, in my opinion.
I'm
It's like
surprised it's not
100%.
higher up. I'm surprised.
It's
not. I remember
again. This has the same problem that the TLC did, where we talked about this in length last week. So I wanted to give some priority to some other matches, but
sure. Awesome.
This was such a back and forth match. It was both of them bloodied up. Remember, they were trading sharpshooter back and forth, and each time both of their faces are just covered in blood, and they got each other in the sharpshooters, and they're going back and forth. And Vince comes out to help The Rock, to help Stone Cold. This meant everything in the world to wrestling. Go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with everything you said, and I was really going down memory lane with this one, bro. Recently, great call. I see how you could put it higher. I see why you put it there.
Yeah, it definitely could be higher. 100% could be higher.
Man, oh man, dude, this was a match and a half. And it's funny because Stone Cold really talks about this match a lot, and he talks about how like he would have been, if he had died in this match 1-on-1 with The Rock, he would have been perfectly happy and good to go. So yeah, it's that's it,
this
man.
is a great pick for the top 5. It could be higher, as you guys said.
No, it definitely could be higher. Again, we talked in length about the Stone Cold Rock rivalry last week and what it meant, and we put the first one on the list. It was we moved it to number 1 after John yelled at me about the ladder match. So
ridiculous.
You got any honorary mentions from 17? Because that's the last one I have from 17.
No. You hit. This was the one. So
yeah,
I'm glad you said it, and this is where I went with it before. I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yep, perfect. All right. Look at that. I mean, it's the greatest rivalry in wrestling, right?
It's unreal.
Number 4. I had a lot more pictures for this. Sorry.
Right. I mean, it deserves it. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 4, HBK and Cena at WrestleMania 23. This is why Triple H is on here.
Okay.
Because this is the one, because you're fighting Mr. WrestleMania.
Yeah.
For the championship. Cena pulls out the win, and this is what made him become Big Match John. Like after this, he is the guy. He is 100% the guy.
Defended his belt in this one, right?
Yeah, he beat Triple H at 22, right?
Yeah,
and then goes on.
He was the champ coming.
Yeah, and then goes on to 23 to beat HBK, Mr. WrestleMania on the grandest stage of them all. This solidified him as JBL likes to call him, Big Match John, in my opinion.
Yeah, listen. I was going to have it for the other one. You said there was a reason why you left it off. You are 100% correct. So it's dude, the guy's done it all. You're showing it here, obviously, with his matches. So I see why it's so high up on the list. Is it over The Rock and Stone Cold for moments? I'm not sure. Maybe for moments, iconic moments. I think for different reasons, right? Like this is as clear as day, showing you like this is the legend killer, really the legend killer.
Yeah.
But The Rock and Stone Cold, it's like that was the culmination of just.
You know what it is? The Rock and Stone Cold is it's always going to be The Rock and Stone Cold, right? I could have made that number 1 on this list, and no one would have complained about it, right?
Yeah.
But this list is more. I wish 17 was on the last list. You know what I'm saying? Because it was more in that era. Like we're splitting eras here, so I'm trying to move forward into the next era of where we're at here.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
okay. I mean, listen, other than 8, you've made a pretty good list here and some good arguments. I mean, you must have been drunk when you put that one on there. But you have salvaged this very nicely.
You got anything else from 23 as an honorable mention?
No.
All right, because that's the last one I got from 23.
Yeah, 23. I mean, this is what was Benoit's last Mania? Do we know?
I had him.
Not sure.
I'd have to look into it. Yeah,
probably 21 or 22.
No, he was on 23.
Benoit was in 23. A very
he was in 23.
Unworthy match.
Yeah.
Montel Vontavious Porter, aka MVP. Yeah. So I don't remember when his last one was. Man, have you ever seen anything so have you ever seen a guy so polarizing to so many?
Who, Benoit? You're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I just saw an interview with Heyman where he was at Inside the Ropes doing a talk, and he was talking about Benoit, and somebody in the crowd was like, "That's my boy," and he's like, "Oh, is he? Is he your fucking boy?" He goes, "Let me tell you something." He goes, "You can enjoy his in-ring ability all you want. In my opinion, Chris Benoit is top 5 of all time in in-ring ability." That's what Heyman said. He said, but that day there was 3 people killed in that house, and only one had the choice. And he's a piece of shit for it. So if you're saying he's your boy, fuck you.
That's actually
what he said to the fan.
That's actually
That's what he said to the fan.
Good shit.
But he gave him the props of like, listen, he was one of the best in the ring of all time. You know, that's what Heyman. I mean, Heyman said that at least.
Yeah, he's. I mean, it's. Dude, I remember those. You remember the interviews? I don't know if you remember it, but the interviews they did with the wrestlers and how much like homage they paid to him and how they said he was such a good man and whatever, but they didn't know the story.
Yeah. And then the story came out, and they all looked like assholes.
Came out, and they were like, "Oh fuck, dude, he murdered his family," and we just said he was a great guy. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, fuck.
But I mean, but you know what? To them, he was a great guy. You know, he just did a horrific, absolutely deplorable thing, and he's a piece of shit. But you know, they didn't know that at the time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yep.
So, but that was number 4. Cena versus HBK at WrestleMania 23. We're going to number 3. Hogan versus The Rock.
Yes.
WrestleMania 18. 2 absolute icons go head to head for the first time.
I thought this was going to be higher on your list, bro. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Again, my top. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. My top 3 are very, very. It was very hard to decide on where these all went. It was very, very difficult. I went back and forth a lot on this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, strap your fucking seatbelts in. We're at the top 3, and Zuplex is ready to fuck us. So here we go. Oh, God.
Hogan versus The Rock, WrestleMania 18. This was... I know he's so upset that I had this at 3.
No, dude, I have anxiety right now. Go ahead.
Where you would have placed this at 1?
Yeah.
Even though it was the worst match ever.
Yeah, but all of Hogan's matches were terrible.
I mean that's true.
So it was moments.
Yeah.
Moments.
Yes,
moments.
And that's why it's at 3. That's why it's at 3.
Okay. Remember, it's the guy that wrestling was founded on. Period.
Yes.
Passing the baton
at 97 years old, passing the baton on to The Rock.
To the next guy who was supposed to carry the industry, and the crowd was fucking okay, bro. Go ahead.
Dude,
wait, go ahead.
Bro, when The Rock started punching him and he started doing the no thing and he just points at him.
I'm not even Scythe. I'm not even I just want to fucking see what this guy puts it to him. I'm telling you right, I may shut this off. I may shut it off.
I'm just saying that match, dude, despite Hogan's wrestling ability, that match was electric, bro. It was amazing.
No, listen, the stare down before this match even started,
No.
That's the crowd reaction anybody
When-
ever wants.
When he flipped the switch from Hollywood Hogan to Hulkamania, like it was just amazing.
No, Zoop, I'm telling you, this is obviously a rated R podcast. Okay, so if you're listening to this point and you don't like something vulgar, turn it off now. If my fucking dick is not blown off my body with 2 and 1, I'm hitting the leave studio button and I'm playing Call of Duty. Let's go.
I have reasons why the other two are above this one.
Oh, bro, you see, he's setting me up for some fucking.
No, and I'll be honest with you, the top 3, like I said, I was very, very torn on where I wanted to put these. This one wound up where it was. It is what it is. All right. What else you got to say about it? Somebody say something else about this match before we go on. I want to see. John doesn't even want to talk right now. He's so mad at me that I put this at 3.
I'm not saying a word till you flip to the next fucking thing because
this Mania, by the way, had some great matches.
I could be done this week, dude. So it really this hinges on everything.
Well, you got any other honorable mentions from 18? Because it's the last one I got from 18.
Yeah, we had Stone Cold versus Scott Hall that Mania.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I don't know, man. Anytime I see Stone Cold in the ring, I'm enjoying myself.
No.
Yeah, I hear you, but that match was fucking awful.
If you're ever gonna do one, you
didn't have Stone Cold versus Scott Hall.
An 18.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It was Stone Cold versus Scott Hall, with Kevin Nash getting involved. That's right.
Listen, you're gonna, unless you have H against Jericho for the undisputed, right? Then I don't know where else you go with this one. But go ahead. Please go ahead.
All right, number 2. Money in the Bank 1. WrestleMania 21.
I think I just heard the Xbox beep.
The first ever Money in the Bank match completely changed the entire industry.
Time out a second. I'm not even gonna put this on my screen. Edge wins this Money in the Bank.
Correct.
And I know this. And he doesn't even want the match, doesn't want ladder matches anymore in his career, if I'm not mistaken, at this point. Can I ask you how the fuck this got over that match?
Okay. Easy. Money in the Bank changed everything in the business. No one knew how this was going to go, right? They put a contract in a briefcase. They didn't tell you that they can cash that they told you they can cash it in whenever they wanted, but everybody thought that would be like, all right, I'm cashing in. I want to face The Rock at WrestleMania, right? No one thought that what that contract meant was you can interrupt a match, throw the contract on the table, go through and win the title that way. Money in the Bank went on to become a yearly event.
It's a me problem. Maybe I phrased it wrong. No problem. I understand it should have made the list. I'm going to rephrase. It should have made the list. How did it make it on the list ahead of the last match? Let me ask you that. It's a me problem. Go ahead.
Did you watch this match? Have you rewatched this match?
I'm sorry. Can you come again? I was too busy trying to give myself brain damage. What happened?
Have you rewatched this match?
Bro, I haven't rewatched the match. I'm not going to tell you something that I haven't done. I obviously know about the match well enough because without it being on my screen or Google or anything else, I told you about the match, right?
Yeah.
Once again, not saying it didn't deserve
after
to be
rewatching both this and the Hogan match, and the fact that this was Money in the Bank 1 that went on to be a yearly WrestleMania thing, that wound up to have its own pay-per-view, that wound up to change the business that the WWE uses every year, create a storyline every year since this one match, right? And the fact that this match was absolutely insane led me to put it above Hogan Rock. I watched Shelton Benjamin run up a ladder, jump to another ladder, and clothesline somebody off the top of it. That was way better than any eye poke that Hogan did, or back scratch, or leg drop.
You want to know what's funny?
This stole the show at 21.
Outside of you, there's not a fucking person on Earth, and on Mars, and on the fucking moon, and with any other place, there's aliens and life, okay? And plants, and fucking rocks that would put this over that. Do me a favor, please. Get to the next slide before I puke. And for anyone who doesn't know,
you have any more honorable mentions for 21?
Bro, I'm done with honorable mentions. I'm done with you. I'm done with you to the point where, to be honest with you, I may vandalize your vehicle tonight. I hate you.
That would be impressive.
About you. And the only thing from 21 that is first of all more of a memorable moment than this, okay, was Batista and Triple H, in the fact that this was the storyline of the student fighting the teacher, and the teacher could never beat him, and Triple H is passing the baton to the animal Batista to carry the company forward. After Batista comes back from the injury, doesn't know if he's going to be the same guy, comes back again, fights Triple H, wins the belt. People don't know he beats him 3 times in a row. This is fucking bro. Please go to the next one. Please.
The number one.
No, please. Whatever the
number one
is, to be honest with you, has got to be white dog shit in my belly at this point. Please.
The career match. HBK and Ric Flair.
Okay.
I knew you were going to be able to argue with this one. It's hard to argue with this one. Flair crying.
Michael's crying.
HBK crying. The part where he says, "I'm sorry," and then super kicks him in the face.
It's amazing because this was as bad of a match as the Hogan Rock one was.
Yeah.
And both are mega memorable. But somehow there's a goddamn fucking ladder match in between them. But it's okay. It's fine. This is your vehicle, bro. And if you want to fucking drive your vehicle off a fucking bridge, it's fine. I'm not going to be in the vehicle. I'm going to be watching the vehicle. But I can tell you right now, disclaimer, number 3 is better than number 2. I would argue that these could be a coin flip, but I won't argue this shouldn't be 1 or 2. So I can see why it's here.
All right. I look, I'll concede to you and I'll say maybe 3 should be above number 2. I was thinking more the long-term ramifications of the Money in the Bank match that led to the business, but
every week he puts this shit on our fucking doorstep, bro.
Listen, I'm not saying that every moment has to change the business, but when a moment does change the business, it should be noted.
See, I don't, to me, I understand where you're going with it. I'm not saying your reasoning is far off. We're basing it on moments and things like that. Although every week you go into this a little convoluted because it's moments, but it changes things, but they don't have to change things, but they're not a moment, but they led to other things. I don't actually think you at this point know, but to be fair, it's very 2023-esque. So I can appreciate the fact that you have no idea what your identity is at this point. I can appreciate it. But number 2, the fact is that, so we might as well get shut down completely, by the way. You showed Trump. We're already on that train. So, Scythe, don't give me the look. Number 3, the fact is that it's crazy to me. I'm thinking you're starting to do this on purpose. I have to somehow each week talk you into why something has to change in the top 3. I'm not sure why, but I'm starting to think.
No, the first week we did all right. First week we did all right.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first week, was there much to really like?
No, there really wasn't.
It was the Hogan Slam. I mean, that was
it. Was the Hogan Slam.
Nothing.
Yeah, that had to be number one.
This one, I remember, all jokes aside, really, bro, that I'm sorry, that kick. I think just
It was a
him
heartbreaker.
after.
Pun intended.
I think, yes, pun very intended. I think after, the fact that Flair was crying and Shawn Michaels was crying, and Shawn's interview of how he was, going into the match, he knew the outcome, and he was talking about how like Flair was his guy. I think all of it was just so incredible. Really, like I don't know what other way there is to slice it other than the fact that like Hogan and Flair at this point are like Tales of the Crypt old, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're like WWE doing what WWE does. It's just the nostalgia, and they put a fucking ancient relic in the ring. But it just goes to show you the magnitude and the greatness of these guys, dude.
See, this should have been Flair's last match.
Period.
But he shouldn't have kept going after this. No, I know. But this should have been. If this was his last match, his legacy would be amazing. That last match thing he did last year was that was hard to watch.
Yeah, and he wants to have another one.
Flair wants Flair in a perfect world, and I don't say this lightly. We joke around a lot and we bullshit a lot and we talk trash and whatever. Flair wished death upon himself here.
Mm-hmm.
Dying in the ring, WrestleMania, 70,000 people.
And he got inducted to the Hall of Fame this year, too.
Inducted in the Hall of Fame with Mr. WrestleMania. And if he would have died there, somewhere in a will or something, he would have said, "This is my moment. Do not mourn me in that way. Thank you." And I don't say that lightly because I don't ever wish that, like, no,
absolutely not.
But like that is, it's a I mean, look at this, bro. This is the guy's pinned. He's supposed to be super kicked and knocked out, but he's crying.
Yeah.
Triple H, Shawn Michaels is crying in his ear. Gosh, man.
It was. I mean, this is why I had this above Hogan Rock, is because there was so much more emotion in this that it really led you to, like, Hogan Rock was a spectacle. This was personal. Everybody in that arena was like heartbroken over this.
Yeah.
When he's sitting there going, I'm sorry, Rick, and then kicks him, you're just like, oh my God.
This one truly, to each their own, which one did it for you more? Either one you go with is great. The staring off all the Hulkamaniacs such as myself, seeing him in the ring with the guy that we all fell in love with The Rock, and the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. And you knew that was it for Hogan, and you're like, wow, dude, I watched you in '89 and here you are with the great one, and the crowd is not even letting them wrestle, and they just keep looking around, and just the aura of these two guys is on another stratosphere. And with HBK and Flair, it was so different because Flair was never, to the wrestling, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe correct me here, but to the wrestlers, he was a legend, right? And he's been around the business 40 years, and he's the greatest champion, and Undertaker and these guys will praise him as that. But fans don't really look at him as like this legendary guy, because he went over to WWE and he wasn't so hyped up like he was in WCW and previous promos, and he wasn't that guy, right? So he won all these championships, but it like I feel like only until we got him back with Triple H did we understand him as a legend and evolution.
Yeah, that's where the legend really got hit home.
Yeah, so like
point.
but when you know Hogan and The Rock, you're like, holy shit, right? So it's just a different. This was really, I mean, both tugged on your heartstrings. This one was much more personal. The other one was like, fuck,
it's what you. The other one was what you always wanted to see. This was personal. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why it was really hard to pick between all of these moments, especially in the top, the top three here. But I went back and forth on this a lot. But I think the personal angle really put this at number one for me, because I just can't shake that moment of Shawn just being like, I'm sorry, and then just kicks him. And you're like, he did it. Oh my God. He put, as the promo was, he put Old Yeller out, So
wild.
Yeah, that was epic.
Absolutely. I think this deserves the number one spot. I'm glad I brought you back around on here.
The solid choice. Solid choice.
Listen, I'm I'm as real as they're gonna get here. I can't hide it, unfortunately. If I think you're giving me dog shit, I'm gonna let you know that I'm gonna bring the shovel. And if you give me good stuff, I'm gonna pat you on the back for it. So
I'm hitting like 90% with John with all these lists every week.
You are. But the problem is
solid percentage.
You're going off the rails at major times. That's the problem. So like you went off the rail at 8, right? But it was like so high up on the list that there was so much incredible stuff that I knew you could bring us back. And you did. And then all of a sudden, once you threw up 3, I'm like, it figures. Like this guy, you had a chance. It's like, it's you looking at your college basketball bracket, right? And looking at a matchup and overthinking it, and you could have had the perfect bracket, but you tried to be the fucking genius, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do every week. You look at this, you're like, well, I'm going to be psychosomatic here. And the ladder match, it really just, revolutionized WWE. No, motherfucker. Okay? Hogan and The Rock was sick.
It was sick, but Money in the Bank revolutionized the business.
You're fucking sick in the head. Yeah. It revolutionized my balls on your forehead. This fucking asshole. Come on. But you brought us back. It's okay.
You got any other moments from this section of WrestleManias?
I don't
think so. We went over another match or two in this one already, right?
WrestleMania 24. I don't think so. Let me double check because I didn't have that one.
Well, in general, because this is the last one on the list. So if you have anything else.
Oh no, no. I mean, listen, one here from 24. To be fair to 24, obviously, we are about 18 matches into Taker's streak. He wins another title here. So I think that one was pretty cool. The triple threat match, Orton, Cena, Triple H. People don't remember very much about Randy Orton's feud with Triple H and how personal it got between the two of them. And that was really when Triple H started using the whole sledgehammer thing.
Mm-hmm.
They invaded each other's personal houses and broke their back doors and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there was a few. I would have probably said the two of them. Obviously, nowhere near the same magnitude as this.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall, dude. Another week, another great job with the list. I
have a question. This was probably your previous episodes or couple episodes. Where did the super kick on Marty Jannetty end up on your list, or did it even make the list?
Didn't happen at WrestleMania.
Oh, that wasn't WrestleMania?
No.
I thought that was a WrestleMania moment. All right, then forget that.
No, I mean there's a few moments where I thought were WrestleMania moments. Last week we were talking about Eddie Guerrero. I thought Eddie Brock was WrestleMania and it wasn't. It was SummerSlam.
Okay.
Now, did you not? Now, I was right. I was writing this down, and just for everyone who rewatches this, you didn't mention anything from 20. I'm not sure if it was on purpose. I'm not sure if you didn't think that it mattered.
So the only match that I had as an honorable mention from 20. Actually, no, I did have yeah. It was the triple threat match, HBK, Triple H, Batista.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Benoit wins. Wait,
when
no.
Benoit wins. No, I'm sorry, not Batista, Benoit. Yeah,
Benoit.
When Benoit wins. Yeah,
that was a sick match.
Sick match.
And interestingly enough, Goldberg versus Lesnar.
That was a 20. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty big because if I'm not mistaken, it was Goldberg's first Mania.
It was Goldberg's first Mania, but he immediately left after that. So it was kind of like he wasn't at 21. He left by SummerSlam. He was gone.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying, like, the magnitude of the match.
Yeah,
the guy
Brock also left shortly after that too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Brock Lesnar in the previous one obviously became the champ with Kurt Angle. That was the one where he almost broke his neck with the somersault. You remember that?
I had that on here. I had that on here with the shooting star press.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely an honorable mention. I forgot to bring that up actually. Yeah, where Brock almost killed himself. But that match was
broke Angle's ribs.
Almost broke Angle's ribs and his neck in the same move. Also led to Vince banning the shooting star press from there forward. Yeah. Unless you were like Billy Kidman.
That was ugly. That was ugly.
Very ugly. Very ugly. Yeah. That was on. I did have that as an honorable mention. Almost made the list. Originally, in my first top 10, that was on there.
Okay.
But then again, like I started thinking about it, and it was an amazing match. I always remember Lesnar almost killing himself, but as far as moments were concerned, was that really like a huge moment? I don't know.
No, but like I said, I mean, we only saw, that was Lesnar's second Mania. It was Goldberg's first Mania. It was the two powerhouses. So I mean, listen, we remember Goldberg as the greatest champion in WCW history. The streak until he screwed over the whole 9 yards. And Lesnar, before being the Beast, right? Won the belt from Angle, and he came over and he was like the next great thing. And to see them in the ring, you were like, wow, this is just as big as two human beings can get. Not a legendary match by no stretch, but
the match was terrible. So
just
bad.
To see him in the match. That's all. So that was it. That's all.
It's worth mentioning. Definitely worth mentioning.
That's it. But that's all you got from me, man.
Nice. So coming up next week, we're going over 18 through 18, 19, 20. I'm sorry, 25.
We're going to 25.
Yeah, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 25 through 32. Which will leave us 6 the week of WrestleMania. But those 6, I think 4 of them are 2-nighters.
So I don't know if you're up for this, but I think that we already alluded to the fact we're going to have a long weekend with Mania.
Yes.
I think it doesn't benefit us to make it even longer by doing a oversell and talking about it.
Well, I thought we were going to do a beginning of the week instead.
Okay. I was going to say maybe we do the oversell and we talk about the Mania moments while watching Mania.
Oh, we could do that too. Yeah, we could absolutely do that.
That works.
I'm planning on, I don't know for all of our listeners out there as well. And I don't know if you guys want to join in with me. If you do, you do. If you don't, no big deal. But the Hall of Fame, I want to watch and live stream also. Do a watch party for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not.
If you guys are around, I can do it by myself. It's not a huge, huge deal. We can have people jump in and out, whatever.
I don't think I'll be around for that, but I'll let you know closer to the date.
Because the Hall of Fame is the Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Friday, I think, yeah.
Because
I mean, I'm
Mania is 1 and 2.
Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, the first and second are Mania. Pretty sure the Hall of Fame is the 31st. So.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man.
For all of our listeners out there, make sure you jump in on it with us. We're going to be watching everything. I think I'll be live streaming everything. So whoever jumps in, jumps in. But yeah, we can do that. The last section of this road to WrestleMania, we can do maybe during the Hall of Fame thing.
Yeah, we could do, we could definitely figure it out. I think it adds a little bit of extra to watch, not just watching a match. Like if it's, a match that we're not so interested in which I'm sure there's probably going to be a couple, right?
Probably going to be plenty.
They can't all be hits. We can, talk about some of these moments leading up.
I like it. So next week we're doing 25 through 34. Or 32. 25 through 32.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's going to be that. So thank you everybody for joining us on the Oversell podcast.
I gave it all, man.
Hell yeah.
I gave it all. I'm exhausted. I gave it all. I left it all on the field, boys.
I appreciate the captain and Scythex joining me for this one. Make sure you guys all like, follow, and subscribe. Everything on GGen. Fred, you got MVP this week? Or is it next week?
I believe Sunday. I'm doing it.
MVP Sunday, Theater Room Tuesday. Today, I think I had a new episode of the Key List drop, right? Did that drop today?
That dropped today at noon, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so go check that out. We got Oversell next week. We're hot streaking into the road to WrestleMania, boys. All right. Love you guys all. Everybody have a good night.
Later.
Deuces.
Later.